The moment I saw the text message, my world didn't shatter. It just shifted. You know that feeling when you're on a roller coaster, right at the very top, and there's that split second of stillness before the drop? That was it. My heart didn't pound. It just went quiet. The text was from a woman I didn't know, a name that meant nothing to me, but the words. The words meant everything. They were intimate, familiar, and they were for my husband Blake. I didn't confront him. I didn't throw a vase or scream until my throat was raw. I just put his phone back on the nightstand exactly where I found it, slid back into bed, and stared at the ceiling. My mind, instead of racing with 1,000 angry questions, became eerily calm, almost like a detective on a case. The case of my own life. Who was this person? How long had this been going on? What did this mean for us, for the life we'd built over 12 years? The next morning, I made Blake his coffee just like I always did. 2 sugars, a splash of cream. He kissed my forehead and said, "Have a great day, Elara." The casual intimacy of it was a physical blow. I watched him walk out the door, the same man I had loved since college, the father of my 2 children, and I felt nothing but a cold, clear focus. Anger would come later, I was sure. Sadness too. But in that moment, all I had was a mission. To find out the truth. Not his version of it, but the whole unvarnished story. My first step wasn't to hire a private investigator or hack into his accounts. It was much simpler. I went to the library. I know, it sounds almost comical, but I needed a quiet place to think. A place that wasn't filled with a decade of our shared memories. I started writing everything down. Days he said he was working late. Business trips that seemed to pop up out of nowhere. The expensive gift for a client I saw on a credit card statement. I wasn't just looking for evidence of an affair. I was mapping the erosion of my marriage. Each new piece of the puzzle I uncovered didn't make me more furious. Instead, it made me feel strangely empowered. The confusion that had been a low hum in the back of my mind for months was finally starting to make sense. His sudden defensiveness, his distant moods, his obsessive guarding of his phone, it wasn't me. It wasn't something I was imagining, it was real. And weirdly, there was a relief in that. I knew her name, I knew where she worked, and I had a pretty clear timeline of their affair. It had been going on for nearly a year. A whole year of a double life. Now came the hard part, the confrontation. I didn't want a dramatic showdown. I wanted a conversation that would lead to a resolution, whatever that might be. I deserved that much. So I chose a neutral space, a small cafe halfway between our house and his office. I sent him a simple text. "We need to talk. Meet me at the corner perk at 5 p.m. No explanation, no accusations, just a summons. The 3 hours I waited for that meeting were the longest of my life. The calm I had cultivated for a week was finally starting to crack. The hurt, the real gut-wrenching pain was beginning to seep in. When he walked in, he looked worried. He probably thought it was about the kids or finances. He sat down and asked, "What's wrong?" "You're scaring me." I took a deep breath and slid my phone across the table. On the screen was a single screenshot of the first text message I had found. His face went white. The color just drained from him, leaving behind a mask of pure shock and guilt. There was no denial. He couldn't. He just stared at the phone, then at me, his mouth opening and closing with no sound coming out. And in that moment, I didn't feel rage. I felt a profound sense of pity. For him, for me, for the us that was now gone forever. I asked my questions calmly, one by one. I didn't raise my voice, I didn't cry. I just listened as he confessed everything, the whole sordid, cliché story. He told me he was sorry. He said it was a mistake, that he loved me, that he didn't want to lose our family. He cried, and as I sat there, watching the man I had shared my life with break down, my own decision became crystal clear. The calmness returned, but this time it wasn't a defense mechanism. It was strength. It was clarity. I knew what I had to do, not for him, but for me and for my children. I told him I needed him to pack a bag and stay with his brother for a while. I told him we would tell the kids together when I was ready. I told him I needed space to figure out what the future looked like without him in it. He begged, he pleaded, but he saw the look in my eyes. He saw that the Ilara he had known, the one he had taken for granted, was gone. The days that followed were a blur of logistics and raw emotion. I finally allowed myself to fall apart. I cried for hours. I screamed into a pillow. I let all the anger and betrayal wash over me. But here's the thing about staying calm in the initial storm. It saves your energy for the aftermath, for the rebuilding. It allowed me to handle the crisis with a clear head, to protect my children from the immediate fallout, and to make decisions based on logic, not just heartbreak. People ask me how I did it, how I stayed so composed. The truth is, my calmness wasn't an absence of feeling. It was a deep instinctual form of self-preservation. It was my mind protecting my heart, until it was safe to feel the full impact. When your world is turned upside down, sometimes the quietest reaction is the most powerful. It asks the deep breath before you start the incredibly difficult work of putting your life back together, piece by piece, on your own terms. This journey is far from over. There are good days and there are terrible days. But I'm not just a victim in this story. I'm the woman who faced the ultimate betrayal with dignity and strength. I'm the woman who chose her own peace over chaotic revenge. And I'm the woman who is now, slowly but surely, building a new, happier life on the foundations of her own resilience. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you've ever been through something similar, know that you are not alone, and your strength is greater than you can possibly imagine. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories about navigating life's biggest challenges.